Well done, Tony.
Thanks.
If we could just go back to when you were first called into the tournament, it must have been quite hard for you because I don't know what you were doing. I mean, how much cricket have you had coming into the tournament? You must have been quite rusty. And I guess how pleased are you with really your fantastic contribution tonight?
Yeah, I said in my interview I was obviously training at Province with one eye on the Champions Trophy, so I was doing a lot of training, but on that particular day I was at Boulders Beach having a look at some penguins, so when coach phoned me I was really excited, ecstatic, and luckily the timing worked out that I was in Cape Town for that game. I didn't think I was going to play, but I'm really grateful that I got the chance, and I'm grateful to Aiden and Eddie for showing faith in me because it wasn't really warranted in this format, but they gave me a lot of trust and faith, and I'm happy I was able to repay that.
Hi Tony, Bennis has kind of mentioned that he, as an opening batter in T20, is trying to find his feet on his form, and you've kind of hinted at that too. Today is probably the one occasion where we've seen, and in the last cup game as well, that the two of you do have some of kind of like what it takes, I guess. What are the adjustments you have to make, and just how comfortable have you felt in this format?
Yeah, I think it is tough. We don't play that many 2020 games. I think you would obviously want to play a lot more and find your rhythm or your blueprint. I think Marco kept saying to me, just keep your intent up because you're getting better positions, and that's all Betters and myself just kept working on, was trying to impose ourselves in the game in our own way because we score in different areas, and we just kept reminding ourselves to keep our intent up, stay positive. If someone misses, then we're obviously good enough to try and hit it for 4 or 6, and that eventually it would come your way, hopefully.
Tony, it's Sunrise's third final they're in. I wonder, in your time with the franchise, is there something that you can see about the culture that makes them start slowly and end up, roaring into another final?
I can't really comment on the starting slowly part, but I think what I can say is I think Adi and Aiden have a very cool relationship. They bounce with each other. They're both very calm individuals. You can never really tell if we're winning or we're under pressure. They're quite consistent human beings. And I think the rest of the change room feeds off that energy. I think because, like I said, they're both calm and they're the leaders. They give guys opportunity to be positive, and not in a fake way. It's a wholesome way. Guys are always excited for each other's successes, and I think it's probably a unique situation where a franchise team has the feeling that it's a team and they all just want to win. I mean, guys on the bench like Daniel, Pele, all of them, they haven't played, but you would feel like they've played every game because they're part of every win, every moment. No one's sulking, so it's a pretty unique environment, I reckon.
Tony, how much do games like today make you believe that you can be an all-format star for South Africa?
Yeah, there's definitely times where you look in the mirror and you think, maybe I must put that on the bench or put that in the cupboard. So something like this, I'm very grateful to the big guy upstairs because, you sometimes have those doubts, I'm not going to lie. So I think I'm relatively young, so I have to keep believing that I have something to give to this format, and I'm glad I was able to do it at this time. It gives you that little bit of hope because this format is also unforgiving, so it can go the other way pretty quickly. But you need these knocks, I suppose, along the way to figure out your blueprint or figure out what works for you in that time.
Tony, how do you look at the final against the clean form? MI won 8 or 11 years?
Yeah, they're a really, really good side. It seems like most of their batters are in form, but I'll probably echo what Aiden said to us the other evening that the tournament starts now, and it seems like everyone is in form in our team at the right moment with bat and ball in the field. You can feel it. I mean, I wouldn't really want to be facing Plunk and Cleese and Overton with the new ball, so I back those guys, especially in the final. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think this is the teams that everyone probably wants to watch in the final, and hopefully it's packed at the Wanderers.
Just going back to T20, it's a format where we see a lot of batters kind of favouring the leg side areas, if you like. You played beautifully.
I've never heard that.
You played beautifully through the offside today, though. Is that something you've worked on in your game, or was it just kind of the way they bowled at you today?
I think if I had to look through my career and stuff like that, I've always pretty much favoured the offside and pretty square. I think that our analyst came and said to me that I had 1% straight, So I need to definitely work on that. Can't only score square. I'm sure the Mumbai guys will be prepared for that. But yeah, everyone has their favourite shots. I think Betters is someone that scores differently to me. I mean, Hermann and I are both left-handed, but if you looked at our wagon wheel, we score in different areas. It's just where you grew up, probably how you were coached, what you enjoy to do. So yeah.
Just quickly ask, when did Aiden say the tournament starts now?
Aiden said before the last game against Chenna. Obviously, we'd done well to get to that point, but it counts for nothing. So even that we had done started slowly, like you alluded to, or that we were in form, it really didn't mean anything. Like now, it's crunch time. So everyone who's feeling a bit under the weather or not in form, like myself or whatever, now it starts. This is when it counts. And that was I suppose, like a little jeer. And having not been in the team before, you did get the feeling that the guys have done it before. There was no panic, and eventually someone would step up.
Hi, David. Obviously, after a really good run at home, it seems like things unraveled a bit with Joe leaving and coming up. Just where do you think things went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a disappointing end to the campaign. I really think we had a really good thing going, but unfortunately in T20 cricket, margins are very small, and I think we just lost our way a little bit in those last three group games. Last two group games, and with him leaving, left a little bit of a gap with that all-round role. That 1 or 2 overs of spin, or sometimes 4. But just the kind of the experience that he has batting through, or getting through the power play and just playing good cricket shots, it was really nice to see. But look, with saying that, I think the guys obviously gave their 100% the whole way through, and it was unfortunately, the wheels kind of came off at the back end.
Hi David, hard lives.
Thank you.
Do you feel almost in a funny sort of way that being so strong at home and conditions which are very sort of unique to Paarl, almost in a way it makes it harder for you though when you do go away from home, and especially coming up here on the high field?
Yes and no. I thought we had a really adaptable squad. In saying that, I mean, it was tough up in the half felt, but look, we beat Pretoria here, Capitals, and it was, I don't think it's not like we don't have a team that we can't play up a half felt. I think it was just, we really kind of found our groove and our game plan at home, and unfortunately, when it really did count at the back end of the comp, we didn't really, we didn't have that punch. I didn't feel like we kind of gave ourselves the best chance to compete. Throughout the competition we played really, really well, competing the whole way through. But unfortunately, when it did matter at the back end, we didn't really stand up, unfortunately. So that's just the reality of it. But look, like I said, I'm really proud of the squad, the way the guys actually went about it. We got a lot of young guys as well in the squad, bowling and batting, and just the way they kind of embraced the season all the way through. I'm really proud of them.
David, you had the Sunrisers right at the beginning of the comp when you beat them, and it was in Paarl where you were so strong. But besides the difference in the venues, what is the difference playing them at that point of the competition and what you got to face out there this season?
Probably conditions. They've got a couple 3-meter bowlers, so a bit of height, bit of pace, and they're a team that kind of never gives up, and they're a competitive team, and they're always at you. So you kind of got to be on your game in all 3 departments. And they played some really good cricket today. Obviously, we have beaten them, we've lost to them, and then obviously lost again. But look, it was, again, that's the way the cricket goes. And like I said, I think we just lacked it at the back end of the competition.
David, Royals have been to the latter stages for 3 straight seasons now, but not been to the final. Where do you think that final step is missing and is needed?
Sorry, I just missed the beginning of the question.
Royals have been to the latter stages for 3 straight seasons now. Where do you think the next step needs to come in for you to reach the final maybe next season?
Yeah, look, it's hard to kind of say that right now, but I mean, we have, this is the furthest we've been in the competition. The previous two seasons we came 3 or 4 fourth or whatever, and we kind of lost in the eliminator. But yeah, look, I suppose we're going to have to go back to the drawing board, and next year's a new season where there's going to be releasing a lot of players. I don't quite know how it's going to all work, to be honest with you, but there will definitely be some questions around how we're going to go about that and rectify that. To answer your question, I can't really right now, but definitely the positives this season is there's a lot of young guys that we have, and they actually performed really, really well. Just working with those young guys and getting a couple more experienced players, some X-factor players that would benefit as well, that potentially, as we all know, Ruti left, so potentially someone that stays all the way through, and yeah, so there would be a few changes, and I can't really answer that right now, but we will definitely make some changes.
David, we've seen Sunrise start very slowly all 3 seasons, and yet they are again in the final. Is there something they do differently at the end of the competition as opposed to at the beginning?
It seems so. It seems like they're slow starters, and they catch up at the back end, which is probably the most important. Look, I really do believe once you've got a squad that a winning squad, I see that they really trust it. There's a lot of trust in that squad. You can see that they back each other. As I mentioned, they're a team that never leaves you as an opposition. So you always have to be on your game. They're clever cricketers and gutsy cricketers. That's how I kind of sum them up. So for me, when you've got a squad like that, and never say die attitude, it often goes a long way in T20 cricket, especially in the field. They give absolutely everything, and as I mentioned, they're clever cricketers. So they've contributed in different stages. Their batters have contributed really well at different stages, not necessarily the whole unit, but at certain stages stepped up. The bowlers have been really amazing this campaign from their team. So yeah, they've got a great thing going, and 2 back-to-back champions, you would expect that, and here they are, they're in the final again, so they have a great opportunity to do 3 in a row. So yeah, I wish them all the very best.
We'll take 2 last questions from you.
David, just going back to the positives for you guys, Luanda Pretorius surely must be towards the top of that list. Another really mature innings tonight. What do you think of it?
I think he's unbelievable. He's been. It's hard to be extremely consistent in this format, and he's had a couple low scores. But overall, through the 12 games, I think it's 12 games we played. He's second on. I think he's second on the list with the. I don't know if you stand to be corrected, but second on the list with the most runs, and that's what. Yeah. Proof is in the pudding. There he is. He's 18 years old. He's got a lot of time. He plays length really well. He's got a really good head on him. He wants to do well. All the very good things. So he's an incredible talent. And as I said, I mentioned this before this campaign, that I'm really looking forward to watching his progress this the next 10, 15, 20 years, and see what he can achieve. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that, and it's great to have him on our team. And tonight he played a really mature knock, and just played really good cricket shots. Went back to what he does really well, and yeah, it was good to watch.
David, I'm just wondering, especially when you came up to the Hatfield, do you think that you guys could have used Mungengini more through the campaign, from an experience point of view, from a senior point of view, and would that have changed anything?
Yes, looking back now, we definitely could have. Look, it's a very unfortunate situation, I must be honest, and he's handled himself really, really well. He's an experienced campaigner, as you mentioned, and he's been working really, really hard. He's given a lot to the team, and just shows his character that he is. It's hard not playing. But unfortunately, the way the team is set up, there was only really one position between a couple fast bowlers, and we went with Quena with the extra pace and the left arm variation. And yes, I mean, he's young, he's got a lot to learn, and a great talent as well. But look, I mean, it's a tough one for Lungi, and he's going to the Champions Trophy, and I think he's going to be raring to go. He's been bowling a lot off the outside of the games and getting really back to where he knows he can bowl. And yeah, like I said, he's been fantastic off the field for the squad.